I am comedian Nazareth, and welcome to this wonderful episode coming to you every Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. here, Southern California time. It is almost 80 degrees, people outside. 80 degrees this morning. Now it's about 60. It's really horrible. I mean, what kind of Valentine I'm gonna spend with? What am I gonna buy my wife? A swimsuit for Valentine? Come on, what's going on with the weather? People in the East Coast are freezing. They have a snowstorm. We're having nice weather. That's the only reason we can tolerate weirdos in California is because of the weather. That's about it. There's nothing else. Yeah, the beach. Yeah, Disneyland. But hey, speaking of Disney, I have a great guest tonight. But before I do that, I want to remind you we do have the Live with Nas every single weeknight at 8:30 p.m. So you can join us on that. And let's see what else is going on. I will be in Washington State this Friday. I'm going to be in Snohomish at the House Church in Friday night for their marriage conference. And also on Sunday morning, I'll be at the Rock Church in Monroe, Washington. Again, I was there in October. They want me back, so I'm back. I'll be back with them. So we'll have a great time there. But I want to tell you, a couple weeks ago, I had my good friend, my old agent, Jay Pesic, who became a counselor and a therapist. And today he just texted me. He said, listen, some people, some a family, they have a child with OCD, and they were researching some therapists and counselors, and they watched your podcast, and they came to my office, so I now have a new client because of you. So when I tell you people, I hate to tell people this is great exposure because people gave this to me the first 10 years of my career, and I was as broke because with great exposure, you cannot pay your rent, your mortgage, your car payment, nothing. Great exposure, nothing. Great exposure happens when you get paid and you keep doing it. That's what it is. But anyway, so tonight, my guest, wonderful. Her name is Katie Lee. She's a voice actor. She's a coach. She's an author. She's a speaker. She's a multifaceted voiceover veteran, and she's the best in making popcorn plain, that is. She's beloved as Connie Kendall in the world's longest-running international radio drama adventures in Odyssey. Other roles she's played include Baby Roloff in the Emmy Awards-winning Jim Henson Muppet Babies cartoon series, Hunker Muddlefoot in Darkwing Duck, Sheila the Thief in Dungeons and Dragons, Richie in Richie Rich, Suni Gumi of Disney's Adventure of the Gummy Bears, Alex in Totally Spies, and young Han Solo for Lego Star Wars, Padawan Mens, and many others. So she also has decades of experience in every form of voiceover, from toys to games to radio to e-learning, specialized in boys and girls' voices, which is very difficult, people, for a female to do a boy's voice and for a boy to do a girl's voice. So this is amazing. And many foreign accents. With a state-of-the-art studio, she's ready to connect via every form of patching of yours, usually with as little as 12 hours notice. Let's watch a little bit of the video. Let's see.
Hi, sweetie. Oh, look what pretty eyes you have, huh? Don't you? Yes, you do. Oh, isn't he beautiful, Dylan?
Frog tea? It's fresh.
Does it feel good to be out of that ice?
Space racers are no longer bound by Earth's gravitational field.
A constellation is a grouping of stars which seems to form a picture in the sky.
Hey, what are you kids doing?
Don't mind little me. I'm just about to cuddle in for a nappity nap. Oh, but my name's not Ian. I'm Han. Han Solo. Once spirits are awakened, the only thing that can put them back to rest is fresh spirits. Nebulosa deeply regrets her past actions. Fireball! Have you ever seen how a rabbit jumps every time it gets chased? Actually, he planned on using you to rule the world. Weren't you paying attention? Nobody ever listens to me. Yeah, Julius totally surprised me. Excuse me, what if my mouth is dry? Will the crepe still melt in it?
Limonada con hielo?
Sí, gracias.
too slippery. Will we like it? Is it something nice? I'm hungry. My tummy hurts.
People don't applaud when I walk by.
I can talk and talk and talk and talk all day if I want to, but that would probably get pretty boring. Unless you want me to, in which case I'll just keep on talking and talking and talking, because like I already said, I can do that.
These are all the voices of my next guest, Katie Lee. Katie, welcome to the Laughter for All podcast.
Hi, I'm trying this light, but I don't think it's good. I look kind of
No, looks
spooky.
great.
Really?
No, you don't. Yeah, you look fine.
Wait, let me plug in the other one just to see if it makes my.
That's
Is that
wonderful.
no? Is that spooky too?
Is it spooky? Nothing is spooky here.
I feel like I'm spooky.
Now, you have kids, right, Katie?
Yeah, we
Wait.
have 5 grown kids, and yeah.
When
they're
they were little and you read them stories, night stories,
bedtime stories.
bedtime stories, did you do all these voices for them?
Yes,
You did.
yes. And my daughter sometimes would say, "Mom, do you always have to do voices?" Yeah.
When before we start, I just want to right away hit people who say, "Oh, well, I don't do voiceover." What do you do to protect your voice? What do you do? I mean, this is your income. How do you protect your voice?
Well, try not to stress it out too much. Sometimes you have to scream and carry on, and then you give it some rest the next day and drink your throat coat tea and your honey and your lemon. And, what I do is really energetic. I feel like I'm going to just turn this off just to see what it looks like turned off.
Okay.
I'm still,
No.
now I got,
Yeah,
what
that's
was,
still good. That's
that's,
still good. Yeah.
I'm going to go with that because I feel like I'm interrogating myself. With the other thing, and I don't know what I'm gonna say, and that it's gonna be broadcast, and it could be embarrassing. So yeah, what I
Honey,
do is very
lemon.
energetic. I say animation is a sport, so it takes a lot of energy, and so you've got to learn how to support your voice, and don't commit to any voices that you know are gonna hurt your voice if you can help it.
So how can you do that? Do they do when you go to do the casting director or do the director demand a certain voice that you go, no, sorry, I can't do that? Or
No, I mean, usually you know what you're getting cast for, you audition, and so
Mhm.
then they'll cast you if they like your audition. And, sometimes there are, like, especially in video games or depending on the script, there could be a lot of screaming, and so usually you'll just ask the director, "Can I do this at the end of the session?"
Ah,
Yeah, so timing, as you know, as a
of course,
comedian is
everything.
everything. That's right. So,
So let me just for people who are watching and
thanks for
listening right now.
having me, by the way.
Oh, you were. It's an honor to have you. You're a huge deal. You are a huge deal. I'm not in the voiceover business, but when I talk to people, they're like, "Oh, you're gonna have her on your show." Oh, wow.
Well, if you
So,
notice, I posted I was going to be on here, and people said, "Oh, Nazareth, he's so funny. He's so funny." So we better be funny.
well, thank you. You know what? Whenever you have a fight with your husband, do you change your voices to make it different?
Maybe I should. I'm going to
uh,
have to give that some thought. No, I will say, as dear as he is, he'll often say, "Use your lower register to talk to me." So he wants me to bring my voice down. Then I guess he can hear it better. Because I don't think men hear high-pitched sounds very well.
no, we don't. So I just want to so if you're in the speaking business, people, if you're in an entertainer, if you're an actor, if you're even a teacher, a school teacher, even that, how you protect your voice, like Katie said, lemon, honey, don't stress it out.
Throat coat and support your voice. Make sure that you're breathing. If you breathe and your shoulders go up, you're doing it wrong. You should
Huh.
you should expand down here.
So that will support your voice and relax. That'll give you a lot more strength, a lot more volume without, pinching.
Do you do breathing exercises every day?
Well, I do breathe every day.
Oh, praise God. No, breathe.
As long as I've been alive, I think I've been breathing. So I've got that down pretty well, I think.
Brag, 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 brag. Go ahead. But no, I mean, do you do breathing exercises every day or no?
No. I
You
just
don't.
no. I mean, no. I'm not a professional singer. They take care of their instrument a little differently. And actually a lot of voiceover the new crop of voice actors are much more aware of their vocal health. It wasn't something that I mean, we were just like, "Give me a job, pay me, I'll do whatever you want." So, it wasn't weren't so good about that stuff.
When did you find out, and at what age you found out? Wow, I can do different voices.
Well, I probably just did a lot naturally growing up, but it was just normal. My family, they all crack jokes and changed their voice. It's kind of normal at our house. But when I went to college, and people suggested I do voiceover because I sounded young. And when I
Oh,
started auditioning or started working, I realized, I can do it. And as I got older too, because when I started, I was pretty much pigeonholed into doing teenagers and kids. But as I got older and had the opportunity to do other things, I could. And I've been pretty good at imitating. I've done a lot of ADR, post production. I don't think you mentioned it, but I was the voice of the Maharaja in Temple of Doom. I revoiced him in Temple of Doom, so when you watch the
oh,
movie, you're hearing me. And I've done other shows where I had to copy, you know, um, just match. We call it voice matching. People who needed to have some extra voice work and they weren't around, so they'll hire actors. I did a whole movie as Heather O'Rourke's voice when she was little, a movie of the week.
oh,
I even voiced a character in The Color Purple.
oh! You did. Okay. Now, what is your favorite? Like when they call you for this, or in there's audition, you go, "This is my favorite thing to do." What would it be?
I really like doing ADR. You feel like you're saving the movie. For some reason, it feels like if I get this right, I'm really helping people. So I guess that feeds that part of me. So I do like doing ADR and voice matching. 'Cause it's very challenging. It most of the time, it's the worst paid, the least paid, but the most challenging and the most fun. Um, so I like to do that.
Now, which out of all the characters you've done thousands, which one you feel you're so proud of? Like, wow, this is
Oh, Connie Kendall on Adventures in Odyssey, for sure. I've been
and
playing the same character for this is my 35th year.
that's for
For
Focus on
Focus on the
Family.
Family. Yeah.
What is it like working with them? I mean, there I know some people there, but what is it like?
It's great. Well, I've been working with them for a long, long time, so we're like family. We're friends. Now my best friends,
I
uh,
know,
are
Ryan,
are
right?
are actors on the show. They just are, and so it's great, and it's fun because we'd only see each other about 4 times a year, so every time we get together, we're just so darn excited. Yeah.
Right. Is COVID, is that made you guys have to record from your own studios at home or?
Initially, we did some things like that. So they set up like you're doing with me here. And now we're able to go back. We were able to, once the union figured out what to do, we could go back into the studio, but you're only allowed 4 people at a time at the mics. So they have to figure out how to break down the script, to organize the actors to come in to, so we don't record linearly,
Oh,
something like.
linearly. I'm
Yeah,
not from this country,
I
so
know, and sometimes it's so good. I can say whatever I want, and you won't know the difference. Uh, but, so they have to pick we go out of order a lot of times, or if there's more people, we'll have 4 people in the studio, and sometimes another actor will be on the line from their studio,
is
but
this
they've
shot
worked
in
it out.
California or in
Mhm.
Colorado?
No, Burbank.
Oh, they do it in Burbank.
Mhm.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Now the rest of the show you have to speak in a Middle Eastern accent because you tell me.
Okay, in a Middle Eastern accent, would that sound something like this maybe?
Yes. Wow. You sound like a Middle Eastern woman who tries to be an American, like try to hide her accent, which is really good. It's like actors who try to play drunk, and the best actors who play drunk are the ones that act that they're trying to be not drunk,
Well,
not like
that's the advice. What I do when I do accents, I really do them lightly because I think that's if you do try to do it too heavily, it's almost obvious. So I think the more subtle you are, the better chance you are of being able to do that. If you're, doing a Hispanic accent, you don't want to be sound like too much like you just came across the border. But since I grew up in Southern California, I could kind of do my Chicana type accent or what else? French. If you're doing French, you don't want to do it too heavy, just a little bit, so it gives us suggestions that you're French, right?
right. I have a question from Bobby Miller here. Said, "Does
You can take
voiceover?"
questions on this
Yes,
show.
and your sister is here on this show.
My sister Vicky, hi
Yeah,
Vicky. I told her I was gonna be on. She
yeah.
lives near out by you. Did you know that?
Oh, she does. Yeah,
In
I'm right.
Norco.
Yeah, that's north of me, North
You
Kelowna.
should go to her store. She has a store. I'm
Oh,
a shout out to Everything Boutique in Norco. Everybody should check it out. She just got a
is
bunch of new jewelry.
oh really? Is that like a horse boutique? Like because that's
Well,
what Norco
that's
is.
funny you would say that because they're called Horsetown USA. So she actually, I think, maybe she can type it. I can't see what you're looking at, but she got
Oh,
a logo designed, Horsetown USA, and she had things made that are just for her store. And she carries a
mm,
lot of things that have horses on them and kids stuff for kids and horse related gifts but
oh.
really cool soap and candles. Actually, she's got some of my Connie candles in her store now that I
That's
think
right.
about
I
it.
noticed. Guys, you have to go to Katie Lee's website, KATIELEIGH.com, and she has a shop, and you can you get some of the candles. But uh, my daughter, right now, she is training horses. She's riding horses in Norco right now. So I'm
Well,
gonna
you
tell
gotta
her
stop at Everything Boutique. It's right next to the Japanese restaurant. It's on six.
6th Street. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's called what? It's called Fashion what?
Everything Boutique.
Everything Boutique. I will make sure we go there. I have a question from Bobby Miller. Said, does voiceover do a lot of editing before the final cut from what people here are in the final production
Oh yeah,
product?
oh yeah. Are you
Wow.
talking about? Is Bobby talking about radio drama? I mean, anything we do, 2, 3, 4 takes, and the engineers figure out what they want to use.
Who is
It's
the
not
worst?
live like this.
Who's the worst engineer you worked for, or something horrible that happened when you're doing something?
Oh, all the engineers are amazing.
I know.
Okay, what there is I know he won't be listening. I started directing a show that's on YouTube called Chi Chi Love. So that's a animated series I'm directing on YouTube. And they had one engineer and usually the engineers are just brilliant and super fast and really good. But he kept thinking he had his own way of doing something that would be better, I guess, and we weren't really syncing with each other, so that was kind of frustrating. I can't remember because I block. I don't want to say bad things. Every
Um,
day is a new day. God's mercies are new every morning. Let's just forget about that and move
Amen.
on.
Tell me about your faith. What do you? I mean, you're a believer.
I'm
You're
a
Christian.
Christian.
How were you young? Were you a believer while you were young? What happened?
Well,
Yeah.
I was raised in the church. We always went to church on Sunday at Episcopal church, but it wasn't till I was about 24 and I started meeting some young Christians who actually read the Bible and took it seriously. And that was like, who are these people? But they weren't cultists either. So I thought, they're really nice and they make a lot of sense. And so we started, going to Bible study with them. And eventually I went to a home group, an evangelical home
Yeah.
group, and just dedicated my life to the Lord, which led me to Odyssey because it was an answer to prayer. I was doing regular cartoons, and everybody in the 80s thought cartoons were of the devil, and I thought I was going to have to quit my job because serious people, you look it up. If you weren't around back then, there felt like Care Bears were demonic. Everything was demonic. So on top of that, I'm working on a show called Dungeons and Dragons, right? And
Ooh.
so I thought, I can't tell my Christian friends what I do. I don't want to tell my voiceover friends that I'm a Christian. I don't know what I'm going to do. And I prayed, and eventually I was blessed with being able to focus on the family, which is a wonderful way to, use my talents, and people, I hear from people every day who've been blessed by that show, and
Yes.
it's incredible.
Actually, Sarah said, I love Adventures in Odyssey growing up. But I'll tell you what, I noticed this as well. Oh, this is my voice back echo. Uh, you said, ooh, are you Canadian or Minnesota?
My parents were from Canada.
Of course, of course. Calgary?
Nope, Toronto.
Oh, Toronto. Oh, perfect. Because we're watching a show on Netflix called Heartland, which is a Canadian show.
Oh,
Beautiful.
I've never been to Toronto, so my mother never took me. So I
It's
don't know what
beautiful.
it's like. That's what I hear.
Beautiful. Now, w- have you ever pranked anybody? Because you are the perfect friend to have to prank people and call them.
Yeah, I know, but I don't have that kind of heart. The only thing I ever did, and I mean, Vicky, if she's still on, we probably did make some prank phone
Cheers.
calls, but we were kids, so that doesn't really count. But, when we used to have landlines and people would all call, and I'd answer the phone, they'd say, "Hello, may I speak to your mother?" And I'd say, "I'm sorry, she's not here." So I didn't have to take any of those sales calls. By the way, this is something you're supposed to do to relax your throat if people don't know it.
Oh,
You're
you blow
blowing
in?
bubbles. Like after you do a show, if you get blow bubbles, it's supposed to
Oh,
relax your throat.
really? I did not know that.
They cut singing straws. They even blowing through them like somehow that's supposed to. I'm just
Uh-huh.
learning this.
Oh, to help relax your. I was told eating Lay's potato chips was really helpful to. I'm serious too, because the
Oh, maybe
oils
because of the salt. Yeah,
and the oil in the thing, it makes it easier.
could
Now, what is your favorite? I know you told me that to help in this show, but when you're asked to sing, I mean, you've done a lot of work where you're singing. Now, do you have to practice that? Do you have to work on yourself to do that, or just
yeah, because I'm not really a singer, but I tell people I can sing in character. So the first show I did was Dumbo Circus, where I had to sing for the Disney Channel.
Mhm.
And they didn't write, and I was Dumbo's voice, but they didn't write a lot of songs for me because they didn't think I could sing. I could say, "That's our show for today, boys and girls. I hope you liked it." And eventually they let me sing a little bit more. And then when I did the Muppet Babies, we had to sing, and my director sent me to a singing coach. Well, the first time we did it, I mean, I was like, we were in a real recording studio, and I was wearing headphones, and it was so cool. And I guess I was just so nervous. He had me drink a couple beers just to relax. So then he sent me to a singing coach. And that kind of helped. And it's funny because you can change your voice, relax your voice when you put on an accent. So I found like certain sounds I couldn't make in my own California accent. But if I'm having a French accent, I can say this, make my voice make some O sound or thing like this that doesn't sound,
Interesting.
Californian. So anyway, over the years, yes, I have sung a lot. And so whenever I get hired, I'll just say, okay, everybody, here's my disclaimer, my caveat. Don't freak out. The first time I try this, it might sound bad, but I promise you before the end of the session, we will get the song done and you will be happy. I just have to work it out because I can follow notes. If they give me the notes, I can see, oh, it goes up, it goes down. But if somebody just sings, like my husband is a singer. He's actually in a Kiss tribute band. They play.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Does he have? Do you
Kiss
put the makeup
Alive.
on
Oh
him?
yeah, does everything. You should have him on your show.
Oh, okay.
But he has perfect pitch. So he's helped me with projects, but he doesn't get how my brain work. And plus I have to tell him, look, I'm singing in character. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to sound like my character is singing. And he'll say, no, it's, I mean, he'll hum it from like that. If I could copy you, I wouldn't need you. If I knew what they were saying, I wouldn't need you. I need just to keep doing it until I get it right, or tell me, oh, that's too low. So then I'll know, okay, I have to get a little higher, but I can't just hear it and imitate it. And we even sing on, my YouTube show. I told you we've been doing Tell
Yeah,
You
tell me
Later.
about that. Tell me about that show.
I will. I'll tell you now. How's that?
Tell me now. Yeah, tell me now.
Called Tell You Later, but I'll tell you now. It's we did a whole year's worth. Started last January with my dear friend Will Ryan, who I'm sad to say passed away in November.
I'm
he
sorry.
played Eugene on Odyssey, and we have been buddies for 40 years. He and I, we've done so many things, written books together and toured together, and so there wasn't a lot going on. And we did we recorded our book. That kind of got us recording stuff, and then we decided to do the show, Tell You Later. So Will was just amazing, prolific, and he would write a song like every day. And I mean, seriously. And he's written for Disney. He wrote for, movies, TV shows, all kinds of stuff. And he would come in and say, I remember one day he walked in and said, oh, so I accidentally wrote a song for Earth Day. Like, okay. So accidentally. So we'll do it on our show, but he would just play it, like, here's the lyrics. Okay. And he'd play it a few times, and then I'd just try to sing along, and maybe 3 times, maybe 4 times. I don't know. It was never perfect, yet, it was great. He would sing with me. So if you watch Tell You Later, you'll see I'm like reading lyrics. It's not like a big professional production, but we had a lot of fun singing his
But what
songs.
is the theme? What is the show? You have a guest every time?
No, it started out just him and me talking, because our characters in Adventures in Odyssey often butt heads, and Will and I are not that different, or we're not that different from the characters we played. And Will just knew stuff about everything. I even had a little segment, What's in Katie's Lunchbox. So I would just put something in there, and whatever we pulled out, he could talk for like an hour on, give you the history. I mean, he was an animator, a writer, a musician. He had a band, Will Ryan and the Cactus County Cowboys. He knew everything about movies I could start singing movies, like old movies, 30s, 40s, 50s actors. He would make friends with them. He knew all these people in Hollywood. When he got here, he would, if I started to hum a song, he'd know if it was public domain and what year it would become public domain. I mean, he was real smart. So we just would talk about whatever, and we'd always get sidetracked. So we never quite finished most of the things that we were talking about. So that's we'd say, well, tell you later. And then we came up with an episode, a series for our patrons, because it's a patron supported show called Welcome to Later. So where we would try to finish the thoughts that we had started on the show.
So no, there was a time where you are a character actor. Were you struggling, praying, Lord, I need a big gig. I need more shows. I need more work. Have you been through that stage?
Yes. And I just want to make sure we do have guests on the show now. A lot of the Odyssey actors have been guests. Townsend Coleman, Kimmy Robertson, Chris Anthony Lansdowne. So they're guests now. But yeah, I mean, there was a time in my life when I was a single mom, and I used to spend a lot of time working on movies, and movies, the ADR would take like 12-hour days. So I started substitute teaching. And that was, I mean, I found a way to enjoy it, but I wasn't really working much in voiceover. And I just wanted to be home and take care of the kids. But when I started doing voiceover, I thought I was never going to do it again. And then it sort of came back. As far as praying for, like, we have our ups and downs. People have to know to save money and be prepared. You could have a big hit and then a real quiet time. But I've learned to trust God. Honestly, I don't know how anybody can do this career without trusting. I
Amen.
remember one time after we'd bought our first house, and I thought, I don't know how we're going to make this house payment. And honestly, the day the mortgage was due, a residual check came in the mail with like the exact amount that our mortgage was. And I just I just trust God that he's going to bring work when it seems like nothing's happening. I always remember, well, just it'll happen. You just don't know when or how it's going to happen. And you just keep plugging away. The real job is auditioning. But even now, okay, we were praying. My husband told me last week, well, this is real slow time for you. I was like, we'll see. And then I got emails this week for some really decent jobs. So, God
Have
comes.
you arrived? Have you ever felt like, because you do Comic Con, you do anime conventions. I mean, those are huge, and you're a big. When did you feel at one point I've arrived as a voice actor?
Yes, but it took a long time. Because I never studied acting. I just unplugged something. Wait a second with my foot. Oops. Now I've
I hear you and I
unplugged.
see you, so it can't
You
be that
hear
bad.
me and you see me. Okay, I'll just never mind about that. It was my little fan. I was trying to open the door. For the longest time, I never called myself an actor. It just,
Mm.
I don't know. I grew up in LA. It seemed like actors were like dumb. I mean, there are just so
I know what you're
many.
saying. I know what you're saying. Yes.
And I don't know. And then I probably it wasn't until like 20 years had gone by when I finally was able to just say, yeah, I'm an actor. I'm a voice actor. That's what I do. I mean, I used to say I do voices or, but it wasn't my identity. And it still isn't
Mm.
my whole identity. But yeah, I mean, clearly when I read my own IMDb, I've done a few things. So it's okay. I can tell people I think if it weren't for Comic Cons, we wouldn't get the feedback because the stuff we did, that I did, a lot of the animated stuff, kids are little. You don't know. You just do your job, you go home. But now that everybody's grown up and you get letters and people come up to you and they tell you their stories, Townsend Coleman remarked to me, because these things make what we've been doing all these years worthwhile. We feel like, okay, it was worth doing this stuff because it really did mean something to a lot of people. And so I'm just thankful. I mean, you know, to have people be happy to see you is really nice. And that's a good thing. I don't always get that coming home from work, but going there is nice.
N- Now, when you go to okay, let's say you're asked to do a character, do you get uh, at this stage where you're at? Do you get asked like, what do you think this character's personality should be? How it
Well,
should?
they already know the personalities usually. I mean,
Mm.
they've written, but they'll ask, can you come up with a voice for this thing? Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, yeah, I watch, and I don't want to admit it, but I watched what do you call the Netflix? What do you call it? The games, Squid Games,
Oh, uh-huh.
and that was they had to have people translate, from Korean to what do you call dub it in English, and you've
Yeah,
done
that's
some
tough.
dubbing.
Oh, yeah,
Is
I've
that
done a lot of
difficult?
it.
Is that difficult?
Um, yes, but it's fun. And, because that's the other thing, like I said, you're kind of saving it. Like if I'm dubbing something, I did a whole series that came from Argentina once. It was like a high school called Jake and Blake.
Mm,
So I had a character in that show. And you see what they've translated. They call it localization when they make a
mm.
translation, and it's hopefully should fit what we call the lip flaps, because you see you want it to fit
All
in
right.
English so it looks like it's coming. So a lot of times, I'll come up with ideas for better words, or cut some stuff out. I have pretty good sense at this point in my life if something's going to fit or not fit. So it's fun. It's fun to do that.
Remember the old Godzilla movies where they have
Sure.
to dub him and
That
it's horrible. The
that
guys
was
have to
pretty
fit an hour
pathetic.
together.
Yes, that was that. I don't even know if they saw the picture when they were dubbing it. They who knows how they did that, but that was pretty funny.
What was it like working for Disney?
Oh, it was exciting. I mean, I've done a few shows. Dumbo Circus, but and that was pretty new on the Disney Channel, so nobody knew that if cable would even last. Um, that was and to be Dumbo, which was I've heard since there will never ever be another person doing Dumbo's voice because they've decided Dumbo shouldn't have spoken in the first place. So I'm the only person who will ever
Oh,
do Dumbo's voice.
why did they quiet? Are they canceling Dumbo? Did he say anything
No,
bad?
no, no, he's not it's just because they wanted to be true to the movie, and the original
Oh,
movie, he didn't talk.
oh,
So they were like,
uh,
"Oh, he shouldn't be talking." Because the Adventures of the Gummy Bears, by the way, it's gummy bears, like the
I'm sorry.
candy.
I did they say what? Gimme, gummy,
Something,
gummy. Yeah.
itchy gummy, I don't know. It was
I didn't see the Y, so it should be
There's no
gummy bear.
Y, it's an I. It's Sunny Gummy. I was the
Sunny
blonde
gummy.
gummy
Can I buy
bear.
a bub? Okay. Yeah.
And
Now,
that was awesome because that was Disney's first Saturday morning TV series. The first one they put on the air was the Gummy Bears, and it was their very first animated TV show series. And I got to be a part of that, and that was amazing because they hired June Foray and Bill Scott from, Rocky and Bullwinkle, and Paul Winchell. All my idols were working on that show too. Will Ryan worked with me on that as well, and that was pretty exciting to be part of that cast, I'll tell you what.
if you were not doing voiceover, what would you be doing? I mean, what would have been your
Laundry,
dream job?
just laundry, I think.
London. Ah,
Popping
so
popcorn, doing laundry. I have taught. I've been a substitute teacher. So I wouldn't do it full time. Um, I don't
but
know. I mean, whatever paid the bills, right? Because you can
right.
have fun doing anything. So
You can. That's a very good advice to people. You can have fun doing anything. And some people think, I mean, I personally would not have fun if I'm not doing comedy. But there is people who, and I'm sure,
I bet you could have fun if you weren't doing comedy. I
I think you're
challenge
right.
you.
I can have fun.
You
Yeah,
can
I
have
think so.
fun. You have fun around the house, right? You have fun. You can sing and dance when you're doing all kinds of stuff. Just don't
Yeah,
get
but
paid for that part.
exactly. That's not fun. But what do you call it? With the when you have uh, what you coach and you teach voiceover. So
Right.
let's say a student comes. I mean, how do you know? What could you teach someone? Like, give me a voice and work on it. Give it a personality. How do you start with that?
I teach people, I just share what I know. I mean, everybody coaches differently, but what I've noticed is most of the animation coaches basically say the same thing in a different way. And I teach people, like I said, that animation's a sport. It takes a lot more energy. People get afraid of the microphone. And if your character is yelling across a football field, the only way to do it is to yell as if you were calling across a football field. You can't fake that. I,
Oh,
I teach them to look at the drawing if there's one and see what physical characteristics they can embody. You know, if they're all wrinkled and hunched over, if you do that with your body, you're gonna hear it in the voice, right?
right.
If they've got big eyes, there's no character with big eyes who doesn't sound like they have big eyes. And if you've got really narrow eyes, you're gonna sound that way too. Your
Really?
face, yeah, sure, your face. So I teach them, to use their muscles, warm up their face muscles to use their body to stretch. I mean, if I stand up, I'll show you what we do. I teach people to stretch because it's like being on stage, except you
Right.
have to stay on mic. So I did Totally Spies. We did a lot of fighting in Totally Spies. So if you're going to kick something, sometimes people will be reading the script and it says they kick a rock. Here, go get it. They don't really, but if I, you hear it, it's different. So I teach them that our ears are lie detectors. If it doesn't sound, if we don't do something for real, our ears pick that up. That voice acting, and I always give credit to Jess Harnell because he said this little V, big A, voice acting. It's not just
Ah,
voices, it's acting. And, you have to put on the costume of the character. Everything is so much in our imagination, and especially in radio, like Adventures in Odyssey, that people can see me right now. I'm on camera. So if I did this, they would see me.
right.
You can't hear that. So everything we do physically has to have a sound so the ears can hear it. So if I went, "Mm," now you know
Ah,
what I'm doing, right?
I see. That's amazing. That is amazing.
So those are some of the things that we do. And pacing is really important. It's not you know, cartoons are only 20 minutes long. You've got to get it done quick and fast and energetic, and to take pauses in between this. And I also teach that every line that you say is a thought, just like in real life. You don't say anything before you think it.
Thank you. Right.
So when you're looking at your script, it's like sight reading music. Musicians who you just hand them music and they know how to play. Well, voice actors eventually, if they're good, can just pick up a script, create a character, embody them within a point of view and emotion, and interpret the script in an interesting way, hopefully, because they're giving it some thought. Like, if you gave me look, I got Valentine's candy for Valentine's.
Oh, brag, brag, brag.
So So, what does it say? Bring a smile to someone's face and show how much you care. We make it easy to celebrate with chocolate. So, you want to just think about, I'm not saying that was great, but you want to think about what you're saying. Bring a smile to someone's face and show how much you care. We make it easy to celebrate with chocolate. So think about what you're saying. It's not just, and,
Right,
and, and
flat,
different genres
monotone.
have different styles, right? Audiobooks are different from commercials, which are different from documentaries.
Yeah, here's a Chris Rossetti asks, I come up or a comment. I come up with a lot of character voices by listening to folks I meet on the streets of San Francisco.
Good
Hmm.
source. We always say do a really bad impression of someone who's famous or a really good impression of somebody nobody knows. Those are good sources.
Wow. Have you written a book, Katie?
Not yet. I mean,
You should.
I wrote a book with Will Ryan called Adventures in Oddity, which is kind of fun. And we have I used to have a copy in here. We have the bonus edition is out now, and that's available on Amazon, but also through my website if people want an autographed copy. We have 2 left that Will autographed, actually, and
Oh,
they're a little bit I have be honest, we jacked up the price because the value went up, and they're
of
going
course.
to a foundation that he established before he passed away to help people to give grants and scholarships to people in animation every year. So we wanted to, it's a little bit more special. So there's 2 of those left through the website, but we have that. And then I'm actually working on 2 books. One is sort of my memoir, and I sort of put that off for a while, but I think I know why. God, I think this season in my life after doing this YouTube show is something I ought to write about. And that book I hope will encourage people because it sounds all fun and games until somebody gets divorced. No, it's just, things happen, and I've had a lot of stuff in my life, and really my faith is important, and it's God has just been so faithful to me, and I want to share about that. I mean, I've had some
Please
pretty horrendous stuff go on in my life, and I think it's
tell us. That's what the show about being honest through helping. There's 72 people right now watching you. And then there'll be 3,800 people listening to you. So whatever you can say that would help someone that might go through what you've been through would be great.
well, now I have to think about. Well, I had my former spouse get into some big trouble and go to prison.
Mm.
And that was a real shock and very devastating. That's when I started substitute teaching because that's how I became a single parent.
How old your kids were at the time?
12, 8, and 7.
Ouch.
Yeah, and one was adopted. He is adopted, but we only had him a couple years when that happened. He came from Romania and he had a lot of stuff to deal with. And my daughter is a type 1 diabetic, the 8-year-old. So there was a lot to deal with. And, I couldn't talk about it for a long time. Now it's 20 years ago. And, it was really hard, but I really believe the joy of the Lord is my strength. And
Mm.
that means just, finding things to be joyful about and joke about and get yourself, through things and trust, and you just do like one day at a time. I gave a talk once to a church group. They were singles, and I said, well, there's 3 W's that helped me get through: wine, water, and worship. Because I had a jacuzzi. And every night I'd go sit there and have a glass of wine and I would sing worship songs. But it's really true, when you sing and you take your mind off yourself, it's only it's temporary to, the things that we go through are temporary. So if you could just take your mind off, it isn't going to change your circumstances, but it lifts your spirits. If that makes
Amen.
sense. No pun intended. Cheers.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I get it. Lift your spirit. A good
yeah, I
one.
mean, it's not like I got drunk, but you know what? I had to take some time for myself to get, go get my nails done once a week, have some time to just, because I had my kids, with me the whole time, and I wasn't, uh, we were used to having two parents around, and it was pretty devastating for everybody, the circumstances. And I don't know that I want to talk about that right here, but if anybody wants to write to me, I know a lot about 12-step stuff now, and I really believe the 12 steps are extremely spiritual program. They're the most pure form of connecting with God that I know. And, teaching us to trust God and to let go of the things that we can't control, and focusing on ourselves and not everybody else. And there's a lot of way that gives you a lot of tools to cope with things that otherwise could be really devastating. Yeah, it's hard when someone goes to prison and you get people who say to you, well, doesn't the government like give you support if one of if your husband
No.
goes? No, we kind of lose that income. Yeah, that kind of goes away. I had to sell my house. I got sued. He was in an age inappropriate relationship, let me say, and I got
Um,
sued, and I had to sell my house. And but God, I really believe, he restored a lot of stuff, and I'm thankful I'm in a place that is good. And things don't last forever, and so to encourage people, just my breathing exercises. It's called the next breath. And I really mean it. The next
amazing.
breath.
Katie, it's just amazing. I mean, that you said that, because a lot of people right now, with even one eighth of what you've been through, they're like, I can't take it anymore. I can't handle it. To listen to the way you handle it, praise God for that.
Well, and I'm thankful because I had some really good friends. One friend just sent me Bible verses that I pinned up on the wall that reminded me of God's promises. And my focus on the family, my Odyssey family, was so supportive. Just really understanding. Like, they would write me more scripts so I could make a little more money. And I don't think they regret that. Whoop, there goes my door.
Yeah.
And just, yeah.
Just amazing. Now, let me change the tone a little bit. So now, when you do, like, for example, the famous characters you did, that do you like quickly, or you have to think about, like, let's say if I say, can you do Baby Rolf right now?
Yeah, sure I can. Far out. That's cool.
How about Hunker Muddlefoot
Hugger Muddlefoot's pretty easy to do too because he's very smart and so am I.
and Sheila the Thief of Dungeons and
Yeah,
Dragons?
Bobby, look out! Oh, Dungeon Master, do you think we'll ever get home?
How about Richie
Oh,
and
Richie,
Richard
well, that's a very fine outfit you're wearing today, Mother. Yes, he's very polite.
and Sunigami?
Sunny Gummy.
Sunigami.
Well, Gruffy, will you please tell Cubby to stop following me around? Does my hair look all right?
Now, I watched the Lego movie and young Hank Solo.
You saw the Padawan Menace? That was when
Yes,
it was on Cartoon Network.
yes,
But my name's not Ian, it's Han. Han Solo.
yes.
Hey, you got any underwear on under there?
This is that's amazing. You're amazing. You're amazing. What's next for Katie? What's next?
Oh, well, I think we're gonna watch a movie. No. Oh.
Speaking of that, before I forget, you said you make the best popcorn, and
I
while
do.
you're talking, several people said they got their popcorn ready and they're eating popcorn watching you.
Oh, they're my buddies. We have another part of for our patrons episodes called Adventures in Popcorn. So we've tried different things with popcorn, how to make it.
What's the best way? What's the
Well,
best way?
I like to make it with coconut oil.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
because then it kind of tastes buttery, but you don't add butter. I mean, it has a lot of oil anyway. So we put some salt on there. I just like normal popcorn, really. Just then I like the little white popcorns. Lately, I've been having super good success with like most of them. That's the goal, right? If I could just pop it and not have any uncooked kernels, I'm
Yes.
perfect. So I actually have an electric wok that I cook it in now because, believe it or not, I live in the back. I have my house has a front house and a back house. I raised my kids in the front, but now we moved to the back and we rent the front. So I don't have a stove back here. So I've
Oh,
learned to cook very creatively with my electric wok. Yeah. So I love making popcorn. And people, I mean, Kimmy Robertson came over once and she had garlic, salt, and paprika, and some this and some that. And it tasted really good, but ain't nobody got time for that around here. It's like, let's make the popcorn. It's going to be gone in 2 seconds anyway. But I do love to cook. I love to cook. What's next for me? I can't tell you, but it has something to do with Epcot Center or Disney World. I'm not sure. So I'm excited. I have a little something I'm going to be doing that I can't say what it is, but that's
that's
fun.
awesome.
Very excited about that. Yeah, and I'm going to go to. My plan is to go to Portugal for a couple weeks to visit.
Oh,
I have 2 voiceover friends there. One, I did a cartoon called Totally Spies, and
uh-huh.
she lived in Brazil, and she was the Portuguese voice. They did a lot of dubbing there, so she was the Portuguese voice of my character, Alex. We became friends, and she's an animation director, and she inspired me to become a director myself. So
Oh,
I love doing that. I'm really enjoying directing. I enjoy coaching. And oh yeah, so my other book, I'll tell you the book I'll probably finish first.
uh-huh.
Nobody better steal my title. If you do,
Okay.
it's because I've never
No.
said it out loud on the Itty Bitty Book of Codependency. So my artist is working on illustrating it, and you know, gotta have fun with that, right?
Right. Today is February 7th,
8th.
February 8th, 2022. So, so today we heard the titles of anybody uses that title after that
They're
day.
in big fat
They're in big
trouble.
trouble.
Big
Now,
fat trouble.
did you do the voice? Someone was asking, did you, well, first of all, someone said you put Old Bay seasoning on your popcorn. Were you the voice of, let's see, where did he ask this? Somebody asked Micah
I,
Ramirez,
I wish
ask
I
a
could
question.
see your questions, but I don't know
I
where
don't know
they're coming
why. Let's
from.
see. How about now? Can you see them now or no?
No,
No, I can't see them now
it's
either.
okay.
But,
Uh-oh.
but
Oh, now I can't even see you. Oh, there we go.
now you can see me. Okay, I love the white cheese popcorn. Okay, I'm a Butter Garcia. You talk about food and everybody chimes in,
Everybody
right?
wants when we do a quarterly Zoom call with our patrons. So everybody brings their popcorn to the Zoom call.
Nettie Slaby from Japan is watching right now. She said it's February.
Hi! Anya,
All
hi
right.
from Nika. No, wait, that's Korean. Hold on. What are they saying?
You do a lot of
Anatawa.
anime.
Anatawa.
Anatawa. Could you please repeat the title? I didn't write it down fast enough. Stop it.
It's
Uh,
called Shut Up.
okay. Let's see. So tell us about the candles that you have on your shop
Oh,
on your
yeah.
shop.
So, as you know, my character on Odyssey, her name is Connie Kendall. So
Right.
I just decided we need Connie candles. So, Connie Kendall works in a soda fountain called Wits End in Adventures in Odyssey, and they're known for these sodas called Wad Fam Chalk Sods that are chocolate sodas and raspberry ripple sundaes. So I don't have them in my booth. I should think of this when I'm on a show like this. They're out in the garage. We have some that are quite realistic in glass that are candles that smell very much like chocolate, and they look like chocolate sodas, and then ice cream dishes with raspberry. But I also have tins, like when I go to conventions.
Yeah, that's
Wait a
beautiful.
minute. Little tins
Uh-huh.
that when I go to cons, I can carry these with me. And this one is raspberry ripple,
Ooh,
and it smells so. Can you smell
I
it?
can smell it, of
It
course.
smells so good.
Yes,
It smells
I smell.
just like raspberry ice cream, but you cannot eat it because it is wax. But
Trust
they're
me, my
yummy,
wife.
and they're
I
handmade.
need.
They're soy. The raspberries were the guy made a mold for me who's making my candles. The raspberry, they're gel wax. So I think we're going to have a special. Actually, check back. I was so consumed with the passing of my friend and dealing with that, and we're having a memorial on February 26th. So I just wasn't thinking, and it's Valentine's Day. But then I thought we have a lot of chocolate soda candles in tins that have like a surplus. So I thought we can have a Valentine's after Valentine's Day chocolate sale like they do in the store. So I'm probably
Right.
gonna have a sale, like a 2 for, discount prices on the chocolate tins. So watch my website for that. And they do smell very chocolatey.
I'm gonna buy some for my daughter and my wife for Valentine's. So you got a customer right there
Ooh,
immediately.
I'll have to
Well,
ship it to you right away because most people
yeah,
won't get it in time for because you know what? Today's Wednesday, Thursday, Tuesday.
yeah,
You might get it by Valentine's because that's Monday, but it
yeah.
might not. But if they want to wait, but I'm not going to promise so that's what I'm saying, the after Valentine's Day chocolate sale. They'll have
Now,
them in
where
time for
can they get it?
Easter.
Again, where can people find that out?
On my
Get those?
website, katielee.com,
Yeah,
KatieLeigh.com, or voiceofyourchildhood.com. I also have that. And if they go under shop, they'll see them.
yeah, they'll find it. Katie, thank you so much. I knew you're very busy. I appreciate the time. You are so much fun, but you were so real. And what you said today, first of all, the voices, how to protect your voice, and second, what you've been through and how you handled it. It's really, really encouraging. So thank you so much. And if you're, if you need to learn, you think, hey, I want to be in the voiceover business. She's a wonderful coach that you
Let
can.
me know. I'll
You
get
can
my act together real soon and have some more workshops. And if anybody feels like maybe I hit a nerve and they want to write to me through my website about anything you're going through, I'm certainly willing to talk to you and pray
oh,
about it with you.
yes. So go to Katie Lee,
We're not alone.
LEIGH.
There's nothing new under the sun.
Amen. Well, God bless you. Thank you so much, Katie. I appreciate you, and I'm gonna thank Aaron Yamawaki for,
Shout
introducing me
out to
to
Aaron Yamawaki.
you. Well, let's get together for some coffee sometime. I would love
Okay,
that.
let's do it. Meet me in Norco when you're taking your daughter for a horse ride. Maybe
I
we'll
will.
go
That would
there.
be great. We'll do that. Well, God bless you.
All
Thank
right.
you
God
so
bless
much,
you too.
Katie.
Thanks, Nick.
And people, thank you for watching the Laughter for All podcast. I hope this was helpful. It was helpful to me. It encouraged me and lift me up to know someone at that caliber in that industry, which is a very difficult industry to be. So thank you so much, Katie. And also want to remind you tonight and every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Pacific time on Facebook under Comedian Nazareth here, or YouTube. You can watch the Live with Naz, where we laugh for 53 minutes. On the last 7 minutes, we ask you if you have any prayer requests, and we encourage one another. So we'd love to see you there. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Please let your friends know about this show, because we'll always bring awesome gifts like Katie and others. So thank you so much for watching, and God bless you. Have a great night.